So this is day 32 with Dorado, and I took the opportunity my farrier had gotten done shoeing the horses, so I worked on him ground tying, and then one of the biggest things that can be hard to kind of prep a horse for is with the rolling cart. So I kind of, like I said, took the opportunity and practiced rolling this around him, and so he was handling this pretty well. I was actually pretty shocked at how well he handled this. He was pretty good. Again, when I introduced it, I used the positive reinforcement with the cookie in the beginning. And now I'm going back and I'm getting a cookie, and I come back and he stood still. It was pretty good, especially with having my farrier and the barn owner at the end of the barn. They were just having a conversation there, so it was good for him to be around strangers. And so now I'm going to start to prep for if he needs shoes. So I know he's sensitive to sound, and I'm going to make that just tapping sound on the metal on his foot. That was actually pretty good. And then give him a cookie. Now I'm going to do the same on the back. That was pretty good. I'm getting better and better. I still have to be a little careful with him. He's good with me, but he can still be very suspicious with other people. So it's just going to take practice of getting him working with other people and getting to do that stuff. So I did tap him on the right hind with the shoe. I just didn't catch it on the camera. He was just being a little funny about the right hind there, so I just went and picked it up. And so then after that, I went and worked with putting the saddle on, and I was going to ground drive him. So he was being a little bit kind of on guard, I think because the trailer was parked next to the round pen, but it was fine. So again, I put the saddle on. I'm going to make him walk around first, get him to move around, trot around. He's getting pretty good. I mean, he knows how to lunge now. He knows how to hoe. And again, now before I started to ground drive him, he knows a lot of stuff now. So he can lunge. I've prepped him with me standing behind him. I've worked with ropes on him. And I've worked with steering and stopping and backing. And so he knows all these things, but now he's got to kind of put it together. And this is a really good tool to use, especially with Dorado. He can be a fairly, very reactive horse. So you see he's going to be very kind of over dramatic. So what I have driving reins here, so they're very soft. And I really like these. Give you a good feel in your hand. And so anytime I start driving a horse, I'm going to start more so in the center. So I'm not directly behind him. Again, I've done rope work. He knows what it feels like, but he's reacting to this because he can't kind of run away. And I'm working on getting control and controlling his body. So generally when he gets nervous, he likes to kind of dictate and turn and come in towards me or run away. And so I'm just working. All I'm wanting him to do is a very simple task of just walk along the rail. And so when he goes to speed up, I'm going to tell him to slow down, which again, he knows all of this stuff. But for Dorado, this can be very kind of intense for him, and he's having to learn kind of what I'm asking. So I'm going to start walking my way down. And the two ropes on each side work well because you can kind of control when they want to throw their haunches, when they want to turn in towards you. And I'm just trying to slow him down for when he wants to just speed up and kind of take control of things. But then again, sometimes what he does, which is kind of tricky, is he'll either run forward or then he kind of stops all motion and starts running backwards. So I have to be pretty delicate kind of with my timing as well. And he wants to turn in towards me, but again, he knows enough things now that I can start to ask him to do certain tasks, like walk along the fence. This is not a stretch for him. I can ask him to do this. So again, I'm just working on kind of trying to control his feet, working on getting him to stop and slow down, and I just have the rope halter on him. And so there he kind of wanted to run backwards. He wants to kind of come off the rail or turn in to go towards me or turn around, and I'm wanting him to stay straight. So I'm trying to help him out here when he gets a little stuck. Here we go. And just when he gets tight and nervous like this is when he gets really reactive. So we have to work through the things. And again, this is setting up for when I ride him to get him. So I'll have more tools of getting him to turn left and right, getting him to stop, getting him to back up. This is also conditioning him to having people behind him, which is what he really doesn't like. So I'm working with turning him. I was turning him from the gate, and then he tried to move away from me. So right there, he's trying to get where he can be guarded by where his stall is, and so he's a little sneaky that way. So I'm having to make sure I can keep him moving. And then when he wants to run, I'm going to keep the pressure steady until I can get him to back off, and then I let go. And he's going to kick out a little bit, kind of turn away. But I'm going to keep kind of my outside rein so I can try to keep him straight, because I want to teach him to go forward. And this work is very important because if anything is to happen while I'm riding him, and if something touches his hind end, I want to make sure that I cover all of my bases and that he can completely understand what I'm wanting. So if I want to pull back, he knows to stop. If I want to pull on my outside rein, he knows to turn. If something touches his hind end, I don't want him to freak out and to bolt and to take off. So all of these things are kind of being addressed in this session. So again, I'm just wanting him to walk along the rail. And he did his little bronking horse thing, so I'm going to ask him to back up, because what he did is he likes to bolt in that one little corner. So I'm going to make him stand here for a minute. Now I'm going to ask him to go. And again, my goal is to just walk along the rail.
Walk.
And you see I'm still kind of like near the center of the round pin, and I'm kind of inching towards him, working on stopping and going. This is getting better. I've got one ear back on me. Then when he wants to go forward, I'm telling him to hoe. That was actually pretty good. I'm going to ask him to back. Now his halter has slipped down a little bit, so I'm going to take the opportunity to fix it. So I asked him to back and stop. And then I'm able to go and kind of give him a rub, reassure him, and fix the halter. So now I'm back. And he did a really good job of standing still for me. It's just again where he doesn't like anything behind him and he wants to turn, but I'm able to control him a little bit and kind of funnel him with the ropes, and that's what we're having the whole disagreement about. So now I'm working on my stop and I'm turning him towards the panel. And again, I've already done this type of work with the single rope, so he knows how to do this already. But now, because I've added the two ropes, and he has to stay in kind of the funnel or the center of those two ropes, and I get a little bit more body control. So now we're starting to walk a lot better, getting a lick and chew. He wants to turn to come to me, so I'm going to hold that outside rein. I'm going to take the opportunity to change directions, and that was actually really good. He didn't bolt that time. And he's getting better and better about me walking behind him here. Now I'm going to ask for the stop. And I'm gonna let him end on that. And then I'm going to untack him, let him stand ground tied. So that was a fairly full session, but I feel like I accomplished a good starting bit for him, and we were able to work through some tension and resistance. And so I always like to end with a good rub and a good little backup, and then we will work towards our tomorrow.